Good afternoon, boys and girls. We are going to have our third lecture in chemical kinetics, where we shall be entering into second order kinetics. First order we have completed. Let us revise it for some time, maybe a few minutes. So the other way to find the fraction of the reactant remaining in a first order reaction after different numbers of half-lives will be known from this table. After one half-life period, half will remain, half will go. And in two half-life periods, half of half will remain, that is 1/4. In three half-life periods, half of 1/4 will remain, that is 1/8. In four half-life periods, half of 1/8, that is 1/16 will remain. So in n half-life periods, half to the power n, that means half into half into half, n times will be multiplied, and that much of fraction will be left out. And if you multiply by 100, that will be the percentage of the reactant left out in a first order process. Now, I have given you, let us discuss this one. Have you done in your home task how many half-life periods will be required approximately, or correctly also in using decimal for the completion of 99.9%? I told you the answer will be approximately 10 and 99.99%. Using that formula, half to the power t by t.5. The t by t.5 ratio is nothing but the number of half-lives. So how many of you have done it? Please raise your hands. I had given a home task. 99% we had done it in the class, but 99.9 and 99.99. And I gave you just for fun to work with some logarithm and find out, is it 10, approximately 10 and 13 respectively. Not exactly that. So many of you have done, I'm happy about it. Now, 99%, we have already done this in our class, and the alternative method also we had done to find t and then t.5, take the ratio, and that will be the same. This you have already done at home. These are the examples we have written and the graphs we had done. Today I had asked you to draw the first order graph in a different way. This question we have already done, and I was telling you the funny story underlying this problem, which I experienced long ago. And I forgot to ask you on that day while I was telling you my experience, a story of about a decade back maybe. I forgot to ask you, have some of you done in the same way? I forgot to ask that, because that has been the way I treat with you, and sometimes it is found to be true. Who knows? Some of you might have done, despite my saying that it is decreasing exponentially, not linearly. You might be thinking that it is changing linearly, and if for this many minutes are required for 30%, so how many minutes will be required for 70%? Now hopefully none has done that, and this question I gave you as a task. What was the answer? Was it 99.69 minutes? Check. I gave you, many of you have not seen the question. Many of you have not seen the question I gave you as a home task. If first order reaction has a half-life period of 30 minutes, then how long it will take to be 90% complete? If K is given, if half-life period t.5 is given, then K is equal to, 0.693 by half-life period. It is ln 2 by half-life period, and that it is coming, K value is coming 0.031 minute inverse. Once we know the K value, the time for 90% completion, that is 100 by 10. 100 is A0, and if it is 90% gone, then 10% remaining. 80 is the remaining. So it is log 10, that is equal to 1. So this comes to be 99.69, nearly 100 minutes, 99.69. How many of you have done correctly? Raise your hands, please. Maybe slightly different. Those who have not done, maybe you have not seen my home task. I gave you very little time. You might be busy otherwise. So you do it of your own once again, please. Now, there is another method. There are so many methods, Oh, this one. I didn't give you this one. I didn't give you this one. See. Have a look to this problem. Yes. Have a look to this problem. Determine very, very attentively, listen to this question. I am explaining to you. Ms. Tripathi, why are you raising your hand? Do you have to say something? Please tell me. No. Determine the percentage of the first order reaction completed, means gone. Means gone after 400 seconds from the beginning of the reaction if its half-life period is 20 seconds. Now, what it is asking is A0 by AT. If gone means it is asking AT by A0. It is asking. No, sorry. It is the remaining. The fraction remaining is AT by A0. And 1 minus that will be the fraction gone. I repeat, AT is existing now at time t. A0 is initial. If you take A0 as 1, then it will be fraction. AT by A0, if you take A0 as 1, it is fraction. So 1 minus this will give you the fraction which is gone, reacted. Right? So, but in the kinetics, in the integrated equation, you have A0 by AT. So I put the values. Half-life period is given, means K, in place of K, I wrote 0.693 by 20, second inverse. And then 2.303 by T, T is 400 second, log A0 by AT. So I took, approximately, since it is 6.018, I just made an approximation. I just forgot this 0.0818. I didn't refer to the anti-log table or any calculator. So A0 by AT is 10 to the power approximately equal to 10 to the power 6. So in the face of 10 to the power 6, this is very little, right? So if this is 10 to the power 6, I want the opposite. So 80 by A0 is this much. So the amount, the fraction remaining is extremely small. That means almost all the reaction is complete. That's because the fraction left out is so small, 0.00005 zeros 1. And since the question is asking what fraction or what percentage has been completed, definitely we will say it's not, we can't say 100%. We have to say even 99.999 something, we have to say that. So if it is 1 by 10 to the power 6 is this much. This value is approximately why approximately? Exactly point, how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros and then 5. 5 zeros, 5. So 1 minus this will be 0.9999 and 59 then 5. So the percentage completed is 99.9995%. Maybe we can call it 100%, but truly as per the question that it demands the exact value. So you have to use that. You understood? So one way of answering this question, you can write down, I give you some time to write down the fraction, which is, supposing the question would have asked what fraction has been left out, remaining, then it is simply 80 by A0 into 100. So that means it is 0.0005%. Is negligible quantity of reactant remaining percentage if it is fraction. So it is always better to find the fraction first, directly the ratio. A0 by 80 is not the one which we are interested. It's reciprocal. A0 by 80 is coming 10 to the power plus 6, but we want 80 by A0, the fraction of the reactant which is remaining. 80 is remaining, A0 the initial, so the fraction. That fraction, if you subtract it from 1, it will give you the fraction which has been reacted. You understood? This is one way. If you have written, it is well and good. I'll tell you the other way. Have you written that? So the two guys are not helping me today. Sambit and Miss Bhola, you were supposed to help me. That means you have not completed. Okay, complete first. Now I will tell you the other method. See which one you like. Because if the time given is 400 seconds and the half-life period is 20, then how many half-life periods have gone? T by T.5, that is 20 half-life periods gone. I told you that in the first order process, the fraction remaining is half to the power that. This expression we have already done. Miss Misra told this one first. I remind you, this one is nothing but that. AT is equal to A0 half to the power T by T.5. And if you bring A0 to this side, which implies AT by A0, that was what we were discussing so much before some time, that the fraction of the reactant remaining is this. If you bring A0 to the left side, so the denominator A0, then this will be nothing but half to the power x. X is the number of half-lives. So if you know the number of half-lives to be 20, then half to the power 20 is the fraction remaining, 80 by A0. Once we know the fraction remaining, then 1 minus that will be this. Though we have just bypassed log. The log, all these, in MCQs, in examination, you will be given such figures that a whole number multiple of half-life period will be given as the time period, the total time period. So the number of half-lives will be even. Will be not even, will be a whole number. So in that case, it is always better to use the half method. Half to the power number of half-lives is the fraction of the reactant remaining. And if the question asks what fraction has gone, then 1 minus that. Then multiplied by 100 will give you the percentage gone or completed. So you understood? Raise your hands if you have understood whether you will be applying the integrated log technique or this half to the power technique to find the fraction, directly the fraction. A0 by 80 you are getting directly. There first A0 by 80, then reciprocal of that will be 80 by A0, but here 80 by A0 directly, half to the power something, half into half into half into half. So we knew that the number of half-lives will be equal to the number of times that half will be multiplied with each other to find the fraction of the reactant remaining after that many half-life periods. Okay, so can you just do this now in my presence? Quickly, I'm pausing. Calculate the percentage of H2O2 that decomposes in 600 That decomposes means what gone, not remaining, what gone. We will be getting what remaining. So 1 minus that will be what gone. 600 seconds from the start of the reaction. Presume the decomposition is first order and the rate constant is this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, young ladies and young gentlemen, I will be telling you how you can readily get by using the exponential form of the first order kinetics. I would like you to love that expression. I think who answered in terms of E? I think Ka answered in terms of E, that AT is equal to A0 into E to the power minus KT. So that E method is also equally handy if you use the power Taylor power series to express E to the power X. Rahul, you want to say something? No. E to the power X, have a look, all of you, very carefully, how easily you can get the answer if you treat it in terms of E to the power something. Now let us know the mathematics behind this. E to the power X is nothing but sigma K is equal to 0 to infinite. It's an infinite series. K is equal to 0 to infinity. And what is the expression? X to the power K by K factorial. That means this is X is the power, is the exponent. So if X is 0, first 0 to the power something is 1. And 0 factorial is also 1. You better ask, if you do not know 0 factorial is 1, better ask your maths teacher. So the first factor will be always 1. And the second factor, when K is equal to 1, 0 after 0, 1, then it is X to the power 1, that means X by factorial 1, means 1. Then it will be plus X to the power 2, then factorial 2 is 2. And X cube factorial 3 is 3 into 2, 6, and so on. Maximum these three terms will be enough to give you a very, very close answer. So taking maximum 3 terms, the value can be most accurately determined easily. Note that factorial 0 is equal to 1. Supposing we will find out E to the power minus 0.4, minus. So that is equal to, the first term will be always 1, because anything, 0 to the power anything, anything to the power 0 is equal to 1. If K starts from 0, so the first term will be always 0. And since it is only X and X is minus, the second term will be minus. But the third term will be plus, square of that. So 0.4 square and 2. And these terms are not required, it will be still lesser and lesser. But this term is required because one is minus, the other one is plus. So these 3 terms can give you what is the exact value of E to the power something, minus something. So this method will be using to find out this problem. You just write down this. I'm sorry to tell you that being a chemistry teacher, I am asking you to write something using E, the Napier's or the Euler's number, the Euler's constant, how to express E to the power something as a power series. Because this is the shortest way to tackle complicated MCQs by taking only the three terms and just neglecting the higher series and higher terms in the series. So you can get the most correct answer, most accurate answer you can get. Done? Have you written? Then using this, that you find what is the fraction remaining, and then 1 minus that, what is the fraction lost, what is the fraction gone. Then after a few minutes, we are going to start second order kinetics. and then pseudo first order kinetics, then zero order kinetics. Then so many numericals involving all these orders and determination of rate law. Now see, I have done this problem. See, first I have found out this one. Have a look, all of you can have a look. AT by A0 is equal to e to the power minus KT. The K value is given, I multiplied into 600. So that gave me this much, e to the power minus 0.0384. K is 6.4 into 10 to the minus 5 and T is 600 seconds. And immediately the answer came 0.96. Exactly, it's 0.9623, taking three terms. But if you take, sometimes if you don't have time, you take only two terms. Neglect even the third term if you do not have time. In many MCQs, often even neglecting the second term, you can get the correct answer because there is no such choice existing to make you confused between neglecting the second term, third term, or neglecting the fourth term. So what I was saying is, if I have taken three terms here and neglected this term, taking that, I got 9616. If not, it is 96. What's the difference between 9616 neglecting the third term? Neglecting the fourth term, it is 9623. This one is the correct one. This one is the most. So what's the difference between 9616 and 9623? It is all 96, so I have written 96. So if the fraction remaining is 0.9623, then what fraction is completed? It is 1 minus this. So the percentage is only 3.77% reaction is complete, because the rate constant is so low, reaction is taking place so slow that even in 600 seconds, only 3.77% is over and 96.23% is remaining, not reacted. Is it okay? Will you go to the second order? Now the graphs that I gave you, this is another way. You could have also done it by taking half to the power something, because that something is not a whole number. So it's not easy. You would have taken a log again, once again log. If you take log, then there is no point. You could have also taken the log form of the original integrated equation, log A0 by AT, then inverted to AT minus AT by A0. You would have done the same thing. But this method is more handy. Even if the number of half-life periods is not a whole number, it's a fraction, then you can use the power series expansion of e to the power x and get the most correct answer by taking at the most three terms, at the worst two terms. Two terms you have to take, one minus something. If it definitely it will be minus, because e to the power minus kt means the second term will be definitely minus. The fraction will be definitely less than 1. Over, are you listening to me? but nobody is raising your hand to go ahead. What has happened? Have I lost connection? Have I lost connection? Then no hand raised. Miss Somasri Panda. 80. Okay. Then it's high time that this graph I told you. Now, the construction of the graph is directly proportional. I mean, that proficiency is directly proportional to your proficiencies in 2D geometry. If you are failing that, then, so we had the first order reaction equation like this. T is equal to 2.30, or sorry, it will be 1 by k ln A0 minus 1 by k ln AT. Because it is 1 by k ln A0 by AT. If you expand it, it will be 1 by k ln A0 minus 1 by k ln AT. So now if you take ln AT as a y coordinate, ln AT will be equal to ln minus ln AT plus ln A0 is equal to KT. If you take LCM K and crisscross to this side, then KT is equal to minus ln AT plus ln A0. So which implies ln AT is equal to ln A0. This will go to this side, this will come to this side, minus KT. Now I have given you the question, the y coordinate is ln AT. So we have brought the y coordinate to the left. So now ln AT will be the y coordinate and time is the x coordinate, and minus means again it will be the same type of negative slope, and the slope will be equal to minus k, and this is ln A0. But in the earlier case, t is equal to, the only difference there, the slope was 1 by minus 1 by k, here slope is minus k. That is the only difference. Because in the earlier one, it will be 1 by k log A0 minus 1 by k log AT. So a graph of t versus, where is my pen is missing some. Yes. So it is t is y coordinate, log or ln whatever. It's ln actually, it's ln. No, 2.303 is not there, means ln AT. So the same negative slope here, the slope is 1 by k, minus 1 by k is the slope. Who was done correctly? Raise your hands. You have to change the equation according to the requirement. Not necessarily what we did in the class will remain the same for every graph. If slight change in the equation happens, then the slope changes. May not be the nature of the graph change, but the slope will change, the intercept will also change. So you do these things, you do at home. These things I'll be giving you more things. I'll ask you to solve all the questions These are simple 5 questions I have given. Out of them, these 2 I have already given in the morning. Some of you might have correctly answered. Some of you have reported that one question could not. Those now you can do it. Supposing question number 5, calculate the percentage of this. I have not given you 4 and 5. I have not given you. Calculate the percentage of hydrogen peroxide that decomposes, means what fraction is complete in the following time periods: 600 seconds, 200 seconds. So you do by E method, directly find AT by A0 is equal to E to the power minus KT. K is given, or if half-life period is given, you can find out K. T is given, 600 seconds or 200 seconds. So you use the Euler, power series equation. Then take 3 terms and get directly the fraction which is decomposed. This directly it is giving how much decomposed, means what fraction is gone. Directly into 100 will be giving the answer of what percentage of H2O2 is decomposed. Now, today's program will be the second order kinetics. Now, in second order kinetics, there are 2 cases. Case 1, when the reactant is only 1, like the decomposition of hydrogen iodide to give you H2 plus I2. Here, since it is an elementary reaction, one-step reaction, in the number of molecules involved is equal to its order. We will know that later. What's the difference between molecularity and the order of reaction? What is the elementary reaction? What is complex reaction? That thing will be discussed in details later. But for now, let us say this is first a second order reaction. And we know experimentally that rate is equal to some constant K into the second power of the reactant concentration. It has been experimentally determined by taking log R versus log A graph. The slope has been found to be 2. And fortunately, we are looking at the balanced equation. The coefficient of HI is also 2, doesn't matter. But experimentally, the order has been determined to be 2. In that case, what is the unit of K? K is equal to rate divided by the square of reactant concentration. So this is moles per liter square. So 1 cancels out. Ultimately, the reciprocal of molarity, that is liter mole inverse time inverse. And we sometimes very stylishly we write capital M inverse time inverse. Or some primitive people, they write liter mole inverse time inverse, maybe second inverse or minute inverse or hour inverse. That is separate. That is up to you. But the first part is the opposite of molarity, or molarity inverse. So for you who are all stylish guys, I will write capital M inverse time inverse. Over. We'll go to the next page, please. Okay, now let us have a look, a little bit of integration. Now rate is nothing but you start from here. We already know this thing is not at all required, this thing. These things are not required for you. We already know that rate means dx by dt. So we start from here. Dx by dt is equal to K into AT. AT in place of AT, we write A0 minus X. X is the product concentration to the power 2 because it is a second order reaction. Then bring this to the left side denominator and take dt to the right side. Integrating both the sides, integration, I remind you that integration x and dx is equal to x to the power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. That you know. If you do not know, forget it. You will know. So since it is minus is there and another minus will be there, ultimately it will be plus. So the value of this integration will be 1 by a0 minus x, because it will be -1, so it will be coming down. And if you take this as t, and 1 minus sign will come, so ultimately it will be plus kt plus integration constant. Here we are not doing definite integral. Had we done that, also would have got the same result, but this is more handy to find out the integration constant and use that to find out the integrated rate law for the second order process. Write down. -2 plus 1 will be -1. One minus sign will be there. And since the sign of x is minus here, you know how to do it taking as t. So in that case, another minus will come. So minus minus will be plus. So if you have understood well integration, there is no problem. If not, please wait for some time till your mathematics teacher will teach you integration. But the main formula that we used here, integration xn dx is equal to xn plus 1 by n plus 1. There, differentiation of x to the power n into dx, as you know, n x n minus 1. So we are not using this, we are integrating this. So this is x n to the n plus 1 by n plus 1. So this is -2. -2 plus 1 is -1, so it is coming down. And -2 plus 1 is -1, but since here it is a minus there, so you have to take it as a t, then dt by dx you have to do. So in that case, a minus sign will come. So that will make plus. So it will be 1 by a0 minus x plus kt. And done. So how to get the integration constant? When t is equal to 0, x is equal to 0. So what happens when you put t is equal to 0 here, then x is equal to 0. T is equal to 0 means, you know, so firstly this term vanishes and this x becomes equal to 0. So integration constant becomes 1 by a0. Then substituting the value of the integration constant, we get this final integrated equation 1 by a0 minus x plus kt plus integration constant 1 by a0. And then taking something is wrong here. I'm so sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm happy. In place of a0 minus x, let us write 80. This is nothing but 80. So 1 by 80 minus 1 by a0 is equal to kt. Kt is kept on one side, and 1 by 80, this is 80. Minus 1 by a0 goes to the other side. So, and then bringing k or t, whatever. If you bring t, then it becomes a graph. T is variable. K is a constant. So either you can keep t here, k here, or k here, t here, doesn't matter. So k is equal to 1 by t whole into 1 by at minus 1 by a0. So this, you can draw a big box. This is the integrated second order equation. Done. Done. So no hands raised. Then half-life period. When at is equal to a0 by 2, t will be equal to half-life. I'm sorry, here I have made a horrible mistake. T is equal to t.5 or t half. You carry on of your own. So when t is equal to half-life period, 80 will be half. Half will go and half will remain. Substituting that value in place of t, you write t.5, and in place of 80, you write a0 by 2. You are getting equation half-life period is equal to 1 by Ka0, which means half-life period for a second order reaction is not constant. Unlike first order reaction, second order reaction is completely different. It is inversely proportional to the starting concentration. I don't say initial because initial is changing every time, every moment the initial is changing. So second order reaction is inversely proportional to initial or starting concentration of the reactant. So the slogan is each half-life period is double of the previous half-life periods. The slogan is every half-life period is the double of the previous half-life period. For example, we started from 100 to become 50, one half is gone. But from 50 to 25, that means 75 gone, 25 remaining. Tell me if initial half-life period is t.5. Remember, in second order kinetics, if somebody gives you half-life period, he is talking about the initial half-life period. But continuously half-life period is changing as the, the reactant concentration is decreasing with time. Continuously half-life periods are increasing with time. So half-life period is given in some problem means it is the initial half-life period, but that half-life period will not remain the same for the next 50% conversion. So from 100 to 50, supposing the initial half-life period is t.5, 20 minutes, say I give you 20 minutes. Then the next 50%, that means to have 25% remaining, 75% gone. 20 into 2, 40 minutes will go. So total 40 plus 20, 60 minutes will be gone for the 75% completion. While in fast order, only 40 minutes would have gone. But in case of second order, 3 half-life periods, 3 initial half-life periods gone. For first t.5 and for the second 50%, that means from 50 to 25, 2 times of the first half-life period. So the total becomes 3 half-life periods, 3 into 20. And again, to become 87.5% over, 12.5% remaining. So 25%, 50% of 25%. Again, twice of the previous half-life period. Previous half-life period was 2t.5 according to the initial half-life period. So 4 initial half-life periods will be required for converting 25 to 12.5. So for 87.5% completion in terms of initial half-life period, there will be 7, 4 plus 2 plus 1. 7 initial half-life periods will be required. So 7 into 20, 140 minutes will be required for 87.5% reaction to be complete for a second order reaction. But if the same order would have been first order, then only 3 half-life periods. One half-life period 50, other life period will make it 75, another half-life period will be make it 87.5. So it remains constant. With the change in the starting concentration, the half-life period is not going to change. But here it is doubling. So the slogan is every half-life period, real half-life period is the double of the previous half-life period. Have you written this? Have you written this? You give me 2 minutes time to take a break. No, not that. You don't. Just write down, boys and girls. You write down what I have already told you. You write down this. What is that? Comparison with fast order reaction, which I have already made. So please write down. By the time you complete writing, I will be back. So there is a huge difference between first and second order process. For first order 50% completion, suppose second order reaction takes place, let us call this initial half-life period. For the first 50%, it's not fast order. For the first 50% completion, let's say it is called the initial half-life period. For the next 25%, 2 T.5, I have not made it subscript, looking very awkward. 2 T.5 will be required. The T.5 is the initial half-life period. And for the next 12.5%, 4 T.5 required. So for the 87.5% completion, 7 half-life periods are required. But for fast order reaction, only 3 half-life periods are required. There is no initial, no final. Half-life period is always constant. But here, this, whenever in any book you will find 7 half-life periods, it is the initial half-life periods. Because the second half-life period, if the first half-life period is 20 minutes, the second half period is 40 minutes, and the third half-life period is 80 minutes, double of the second one. Every half-life period is the double of the previous, half-life. That is the slogan here. And here 0.5 should go as subscript. I will go to the next page, please, and we are complete. Now see, because second order reaction becomes extremely slow down as time elapses, the half-life period increases, the rate becomes further slower and slower. So if you compare between the two graphs, both are exponential, both are not linear. Each has a particular slope at a particular point, and the slope will give you the rate of reaction dA by dt, no doubt. But look to the graph. The second order graph, concentration versus time graph, will remain above the first order. This one I had a bad drawing, so I thought of doing in my own freehand drawing with my pen tab. So second order reaction slows down more and more as the concentration decreases with time, because the half-life period increases, the rate becomes lower and lower. The reactant concentration versus time graph of second order reaction lies above that of first order graph. Over. Don't draw 2 times. I'll be cancelling, because you know you guys are. Now the graph. Now see, here to save time, I am doing, but next time I'll ask you in a different way. Now look to this equation. These are the graphs for second order. Look to this equation, the original equation for the second order. T is equal to 1 by K into 1 by AT minus 1 by A0. So if you take 1 by AT as the X coordinate, this one, it will have a positive slope, but the intercept is negative, because here the constant term has a minus sign. So minus KA0 will be the negative intercept in the y-axis, and the slope will be equal to 1 by K. So this will be the graph of T versus 1 by T. But next time I'll ask you the opposite. If 1 by AT is the y coordinate, T is the x coordinate, then you reshuffle the equation and find the new K. New slope, and what will be the value of the slope and intercept. So I can change the equation, ask you a different question. Coordinates will be exchanged. And see, this is half-life period. Have you drawn this one, the first one? Now all of you see. All of you see the second one. Second one is about half-life period, which is inversely proportional to the initial. Why initial? The starting concentration, because every time the starting concentration is changing. So the initial concentration. So if you draw a graph of half-life period versus 1 by A0, then it will be a straight line parallel to, passing through the origin, and the slope I have not drawn will be equal to, let me draw because I have a pain in my hand, so I can very easily draw the slope will be equal to 1 by k, and the reciprocal of that will give you the value of rate constant k. Now in this chapter, not only you will show your mathematical skill, but you will see a little bit of skill of your chemistry teacher that I will be using. So very fascinating problems we will be doing in this chemical kinetics chapter. Now, look to the original equation. Rate is equal to k into at square. So if you draw rate, this is nothing but rate. Dx by dt is nothing but rate. Rate versus at square, then the slope will be simply equal to k. But if you take the log, this is r. If you take log r is equal to log k plus 2 log at, and you draw a graph of log r versus log at, then it will be having a positive slope, but it will not pass through origin, and the slope will be equal to 2, and the intercept will be equal to log k. So these are some of the graphs for the second order reaction. Then we will be entering into numericals. If you never bother that we are recording this class program, that I am least concerned. I am more concerned whether you have understood or not. If not, please don't hesitate to ask me anywhere you have not understood. And I did share with you my joy, and I was so happy that my joy became your joy, and the way you reciprocated my sharing with you that I have launched in a global platform, Udemy, the way you outpoured your happiness and resonated your happiness with your teachers, that will not find any words in my lips. That's true. So these things which we are recording now will be only for our, state level, maximum national level listeners. But all the topics slowly and steadily I will be making for the global audience, global viewers, in a dedicated, studio that I am now planning to have in a very small room. So doesn't matter if something goes wrong. Wrong means I become little weird. I mean, then doesn't matter. So what I was saying, whenever you find any difficulty in understanding, don't hesitate to interrupt. Only we operated log on both the sides. Log r is equal to log k plus 2 log at, and the graph, this is the y coordinate, this is the x coordinate. Y is equal to m x plus c is log k. And this is interesting. This is interesting, which is of no use for you, but others. And if the second, try to understand, the second case is when the two reactants are different. It's not single reactant type, two reactant type, S2 and I2, for example. Just the opposite of that. Fortunately, both the processes are second order. The formation of HI is second order, first order with respect to hydrogen, first order with respect to iodine. And the decomposition of HI, which we did before, is also second order. It is second order with respect to HI. But here first equal to second. Now in this case, there are two subcases. When both the reactants have same initial concentration. This is A0, this is A0. Have a look here, don't write. the reactants are different, but the initial concentrations are same. This is A0, this is A0. So A0 minus X, this is also A0 minus X. So this will be again A0 minus X square. That is reduced to the same integration, same integrated law that we had before. Therefore, I have written when the two concentrations are different, then the integrated equation will be different. But here, in this case, if the initial concentrations of both the reactants are same, then the kinetics, the derivation will be reduced to the original the previous integrated law. That who can tell me what is, who can tell me yes, who can tell me the case one, the most widely discussed second order integrated rate equation? Who has remembered? Please tell me. Open your voice. Yes, come on. Come on. We have already done just before few seconds the second order kinetics. Yes, Miss Nath.
Sir, K is equal to T into 1 by 80 minus 1 by A0. Sir, K is equal to T into 1 by 80 minus 1 by A0.
Oh. Very, very sorry. 2 times you told the wrong equation. Yes, Miss Swine.
So K T is equal to 1 by 80 minus 1 by A0.
So K is equal to?
So 1 by T into 1.
It's not, it is not T. It is 1 by T whole into 1 by 80 minus 1 by A0. The mistake, Miss Nath, you committed, you said K is equal to T into, it's not T, it is 1 by T into whole bracket 1 by 80 minus 1 by A0. And who can tell me what is half-life period? T.5 is equal to, who can tell me? Somesri Panda? Half-life period for second order reaction of that type. The case one type is in your course. The one which we are going to do now is not in your course, but I will make it in your course. Don't worry. So tell me what is the, just like, first order is 0.693 by K. It was not carrying any initial concentration term. It is constant. So in second order, what value you got? You tell, you volunteer. Anybody? Anybody open?
T 0.5 equal to 1 by K into N0.
Are you crazy? What is the expression for half-life period of second order reaction?
1 by K A0?
Yes, precisely, Chinmay. Bhodo is correct. T.5 is equal to 1 by K A0. Now see in your copies, we have derived it when T is equal to T.5, then T is equal to A0 by 2, and we substituted that and got T.5 is equal to 1 by K into initial concentration or the starting concentration. And if the two concentrations are different, now see, it will involve a bit of your, I will give you the task to integrate. The integration is is not as easy as before. You have to have a little more knowledge about integration. So if the initial value is A0 and B0, they are not same. And at time t, A0 minus x, B0 minus x. So rate, which is nothing but dx by dt, is equal to k into the first power of A0 minus x, at to the power 1 and bt to the power 1. So in place of at, we write A0 minus x, and in place of bt, we write b0 minus x to the power 1. So if we bring this whole to the denominator of left side and take dt to the right, we get this. And if we integrate, we directly get this. How to get? I have omitted the steps. The integration of 1 by A0 minus x into B0 minus x into dx. you have to find out, and kdt, then integration constant somewhere or either left or right, you have to find out, and then use the integration constant, or you can use the definite integral, doesn't matter. So the final k is equal to 1 by t a0 minus b0 ln b0 into at divided by, this is at, in fact, at, and denominator is a0 into bt. And in numerator b0 at and denominator a0 bt ln. If you make it log, then you have to multiply 2.303, which I haven't done. So if you take t to the other side, so t, because these graphs will be prepared from this, t to this side and split the ln, then t is equal to 1 by k, k will come here, 1 by k a0 minus b0 ln b0 by a0, this is a constant term being segregated, plus again 1 by k a0 minus b0 ln a0 by, at by bt, this is variable and this is constant. So if you draw a graph of t versus the whole thing, I'm sorry, t versus, let me draw here, I think I have drawn it here, yes. If I draw a graph of t versus ln at by bt, then you will get a straight line with a slope equal to 1 by k into a0 minus b0, and the intercept will be the entire constant, this quantity. So that I have done. Here, half-life period for such cases cannot be determined, no formula, because the time required for a0 to be halved is not the same as the time required for b0 to be halved. These are two different reactants. So they have got different half-life periods. So the whole equation cannot have a fixed half-life period. So nobody will ask you what is the half-life period for such a process where two different reactants, they produce a second order mechanism. And that too, the two initial concentrations are different, right? So that we will be using, why I'm teaching this in a very rigorous manner, it is because we will be using these kinetics for our pseudo fast order kinetics, which is not found in your textbooks. So you write down this. And this is a home task I give you, how I got this, or not I, but whole world get this. And I have seen in physical contact class programs, by the time the class is over, a couple or maybe a dozen, they come out with a solution. Sir, is it correct? Is it correct? Is it correct? I say, I don't have that much of knowledge now left in integration. Written? Over? No indication? A0, B0 are the initial concentration of the two reactants, A and B. While at TBT, they are A0 minus X and B0 minus X. In their places, we write ATBT. So it is very interesting equation, I'm sorry. You draw this graph looking to that particular equation. Ln AT by BT is the X coordinate, time is the Y coordinate, the slope will be 1 by K A0 minus B0, and the intercept will be 1 by K A0 minus B0 into ln B0 by A0, in B0 by A0, here B0 by A0. Ms. Nath, will you ask me something? Please, don't hesitate to ask. Nowadays, you are not, you are not at all, you are not at all.
No, sir.
Yes, you are not at all. Yes, do you want to ask something?
No, sir.
Okay, then mute yourself.
Sir.
Now, I have done, for my curiosity, I have done integration steps. So you do of your own. Then let us see. Let us solve a problem on this. I have done. I will give you the notes, but don't see that, because those who have already learned integration, they should do of their own. How I got? Either by definite integral method or by finding C0 integration constant and putting the values. You find out this and show me. Then you tally whether mine is correct or not. Then let us solve this before we close. Let us solve this problem and look to the following reaction. 3A gives 4B plus C. Here 3, don't be swayed away. 3 means it is a third order reaction. No, order of reaction is experimentally determined. Who can tell me, how could you know that this is a second order reaction? Raise your hands and tell me. Read the question first. I give you 1 minute time. Yes, Ananya? Ananya?
So we can know that this is second order reaction from the unit of the rate constant.
Yes, precisely. Look to the unit. Units are very, very indicative. From the unit, you can know what is the order. We have so far studied first order and second order, not studied third order, zero order, and fractional order. So the unit of the second order reaction is molarity inverse and second inverse. So whether or not it is indicating, it is saying that it is second order, you can definitely conclude from the unit that it is a second order reaction. And find the rate of disappearance of A. Its K is given. So find this minus dA by dt. You find it. And then write the rate expression 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 dA by dt is equal to plus 1 by 4 dB by dt. C is not required because it's not asking the rate of formation of C. So you can find then what is the rate of formation of B if rate of disappearance of A is known. First you find the rate of disappearance of A. Now minus, we already know this is a second order. So minus dA by dt is equal to K into 80 square or A square. Because it is second order. K is given 2 into 10 to the power minus 2. And then this is a 0.02 square. So obviously it will be coming moles per second, molarity per second, because rate is always molarity per second, moles per liter per second. So what is the rate with respect to A disappearance? So it is coming, I've done it. It is coming 8 into 10 to the power minus 6 moles per liter per second. And then you write the expression 1 by minus 1 by 3 dA by dt is equal to plus 1 by 4. This is not required for our question. Then if dA by dt you have calculated, then dB by dt is equal to 4 by 3. 4 by 3. So minus dA by dt is known. Minus dA by dt is this much. So minus will be automatically embedded here. 8 into 10 to the power minus 6 into 4 by 3. So the rate of formation of B is this. Because the stoichiometry demands that the disappearance of B will be 4 by 3 times greater. Sorry, the appearance of B, the formation of B will be 4 by 3 times greater than the disappearance of A. Got it? Have you got the same answer? So by the time, it was 60, now it is 49, now 61, now many have dropped, maybe voluntarily and maybe for some other tuitions, doesn't matter. Satyajit, what a pleasant surprise. Yes, anything you want to ask? Satyajit? Yes. Any question? Are any question? No. No. Nothing is audible. Your audio. So you mute. Don't waste time. It is already time. So don't waste time. Mute. Now, these are some of the examples of second order reaction. Just write down some examples. 2HI, this is the first type, case 1. And this is case 2 type. Case 2 has 2 subcases. If the initial concentrations are same for both the reactants, then it is reduced to the case 1 type. And if they are different, then yes, T is equal to 1 by K into A0 minus B0, then ln B0 at T by A0 BT. Or if you split them, it will be a huge one, and its graph we have done after splitting. Now, the decomposition of NO2. Decomposition of NO2 to give you NO and O2 is a second order reaction. And in organic, alkaline hydrolysis of esters is called saponification of ester. In the alcohol chapter, we have already done that ester, when it is hydrolyzed in presence of alkali, so it is a second order. It is first order with respect to ester and first order with respect to alkali. So overall order is 2. So if you keep ester concentration fixed, then there is a linear increase in the rate with increase in hydroxide ion concentration. If you keep hydroxide ion concentration fixed, then also there will be a linear increase in the rate with increase in ester concentration. So, and the last question that we'll be doing is this one. It's a very simple one using the integrated law. Doesn't matter. A few of us have left, those who have coaching somewhere else, so they can manage with the recordings, but if a flask that initially contains 0.0256 molarity NO2 is heated at 300 degrees Celsius to give to form NO and O2, comma, what will be the concentration of NO2 after 1 hour? Is asking 80. How long will it take for the concentration of NO2 to decrease to 10% of the initial concentration? That means 80 by A0 is 0.1. How long it will take the concentration of it to decrease to 10% of the initial concentration? So 80 by A0 will be 0.1. Rate constant is given 0.54 moles per liter per second. From the very unit, we know that it is a second order reaction. In fact, in your +2 stage, second order reaction is not much discussed, both in NCERT book and in second order NCERT book. It's very, very ill represented. Because unless you are thorough about second order reaction, you cannot do the kinetics of pseudo fast order. Pseudo fast order is given in your books, textbooks, but in a very casual manner. In a descriptive manner, some examples are given, but not the kinetics. First, you use the equation K is equal to 1 by T whole into 1 by AT minus 1 by A0. So everything is known. AT will be found out. First found AT. Then AT by A0 will be T And then you crisscross, then find out what is 80 by A0. When 80 by A0 is 0.1, what is the time? What is the time? The time is unknown. Possibly I have forgotten to do that. Now here, K is equal to 1 by T into 1 by 80 minus 1 by A0. So 0.54, that is the rate, is equal to 1 by T. 1 hour means it is 3600. Because it is second inverse is in the time, the K rate constant has a unit second inverse. So 1 hour has to be converted to second. 1 by 80 and 1 by A0 is 0.056. From there, you find what is 80. Who has got the answer? What is 80? I have got the answer. 80 is, 5 into 10 to the power minus 4 m. Very, very small. Almost the reaction is over. The molarity after 1 hour left out is 0.305 moles per liter. Started 0.056. So you check at home. It is asking how long it will take. I have not answered. I have added one more question. What is the half-life period? You also add and work out at home, also find the initial half-life period. Because you do not know, your initial concentration is given, not the concentration after time t. This is the concentration at time t, and if somebody asks you what is the half-life period, for this initial concentration, that will be something different, huge value. But also find the initial half-life period. Whenever you are asked half-life period, it is meaning initial half-life period. Half-life period. So the time A0, 80 by A0 should be 0.1. So how to make this equation you do at home, 80 by A0, this ratio, will be 0.1 and K is constant always. So time you have to find out, and 80 by A0 is 0.1. That means 80 is equal to 0.1 A0. You can put 80 as 0.1 A0 here, and A0 is given. So you can easily find out what is the time required for 10% of the reactant to remain, to stay back. Right? At home, you find out the time. I have not done that. But half-life period is equal to 1 by K0. K is given and initial concentration is given. So 33.0, this point is missing here. 33.068 second is the initial half-life period, and the second half-life period will be 66.67 second, and the third half-life period will be again double of that. So every half-life period is the double of the previous half-life period. Ladies and gentlemen, we close today's session, and we have a very hectic session on Thursday. We're discussing about the zero order and pseudo first order reaction will be complete, and so many problems we'll be doing. So you solve all the problems that I have given before, and now I'll be giving you some more things. So and we will be shifting the test to coming week. I'm very keen, interested to use that software, very foolproof software. I don't know whether it is foolproof, they are saying so, but they will debug whatever will be the problem, and they will rectify. So that has been the contract. So very nice time ahead of you. I wish you all the best to use your time very fruitfully. Enjoy your every second. That is the slogan. You make it till you, you fake it till you make it. Bye-bye.